Mr. Chairman, motion to open.
Second.
So moved. All in favor?
Aye.
We've already called the order, but I'm confirming that there is a quorum present and would like to do a roll call of voting members. We'll start with Chuck and go clockwise.
Present, Chuck, present.
Chris Howe.
Janine Cunningham.
John Farrar.
Josephine Antico.
Damon Jesperson. Introductions of others, our esteemed and fearless leader.
Cindy Carter.
I would entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes from 10/21/24.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The chairperson's report is fairly short. I've met with Cindy and the town planner as part of looking at properties and talking about the conflicts that may exist between things the town is planning and anything we recommend as the ad hoc committee, which was a very, I think, fruitful and productive meeting. And beyond that, I have been trying to catch up on having been away at work, and so I've been through to sign papers and said hi a few times, but I've not been able to do very much beyond that. And now to the director's report.
Okay, so I will start with yesterday. I went to the Central Congregational Church in Newburyport. They are the ones who put on the chocolate tour every year in Newburyport and now in Amesbury. And the Council on Aging's for 5 local areas. So it's Newbury, Newburyport, West Newbury, Salisbury, and Amesbury are always recipients of the chocolate tour. And then Sweet Paws Rescue was the other recipient, I believe. And there was another one, Green, I want to call it Greenstone. What they do is they provide funding for families if there's a, parent is out of work, whatever, they fund kids' activities, whether it's their driver's ed or their sporting activities. So they were another recipient. So because they had this additional evening in Amesbury, we actually walked away with a check for $2,300. So that goes to what they have earmarked it for, so to speak, is prescription assistance and transportation, but we really can use it for anything. What we use it for is transportation assistance. So when we have someone who has a medical appointment and they need a ride, if the van is not available, if the meat driver is not available, if they can't afford to get themselves where they need to go, they don't have someone else to help them, we would pay for a taxi to get them where they need to go. We don't want people to cancel appointments. Some people prefer to cancel and they don't want to take a taxi, and that's okay. Other people have someone who can help them, but it's just sort of a backup plan for us to have in the event that someone can't get where they need to go, and it's nice that that's funded by the chocolate tour. So we
Does
appreciate
that
it.
go through Kathy, as does NEAT?
Yes.
Okay.
That paying for a taxi, that's very important.
Mhm.
Tell you why. When we were doing the ambulance, we would have different citizens call for the ambulance to go to the hospital. That was paid for, a taxi wasn't. Even though they didn't need medical assistance, they called the ambulance. So that's a very good idea. That relieves a lot from the fire.
Frees up the EMT.
Yes.
Yeah.
For emergencies.
Yeah. So I really applaud that.
Now that happened to me 2 weeks ago, where I called Kathy, set an appointment for Mass Eye and Ear. Came up to 48 hours, I called Kathy and she said, "Do you want to pull the cord?"
So, well, what we do is
Cancel.
we do try to have it available for people who can't afford to
Understood.
have a backup plan. So we always tell people on NEAT, you must have a backup plan. You really must have a backup plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it might be your neighbor, it might be a friend, it might be your daughter, whatever. But we have some people in this town that don't have anybody that live around here. I mean, if I give taxi rides to everybody, that money's gone pretty quick.
Instantaneous.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So we are a little bit careful about who we're using it for. If we know you have someone who can help you or have the funds available, it's a different case for someone who, that's getting food from the food pantry, they're on different assistance. I know they can't afford a taxi ride, but they need to go to that medical appointment. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where we,
The taxi turnaround was 140 one way.
Yeah.
So
One
Is that what a taxi's up to?
Well, it depends where you're going. If you're going into
We're in
Boston,
Mass
we've
Ioneer.
had them go into Boston.
Oh,
We have done that. We have
So
taken
is it
people by
taxi or Uber or?
it was an Uber trip.
Okay.
But
For us,
I
we
mean,
use
the
a
taxi
taxi.
was the same
Yeah.
rate, and I just had an Uber kid that I dealt with in the past, and he lives in Jamaica Plain, he came all the way up to Newbury.
Wow.
I mean, he's become a friend.
We use Newburyport Taxi, I think is what it's called. And they're very good with us, and we will actually, for a Boston appointment, we will have them stay there and wait for the person.
Oh, well,
We
that's,
pay for that.
that was the
How
same.
long,
But-
how long will they stay?
About an hour, I think is what they'll stay. I mean, we're paying them.
See, that's
To
my
stay
problem, is my appointments, because of Dr. Sana, she keeps me 3 hours.
Then you'd have to have the taxi come back in
Yeah.
to get you.
Mm.
So we ask them to stay so that that person will get the taxi ride back
Back up.
when they're done with their appointment, but it's usually in about an hour.
Understood.
Right. So,
Well, I changed the appointment to the 24th. The perfect pickup is Ann Lagasse, she's always ready to go.
and she picked up your ride.
No, she's gonna take me on the 24th.
Okay. So that was the chocolate tour, so I just wanted to let you guys know that that was, the chocolate tour is held every year in October, but about this time in November is when they invite us to this, they have a they do their regular service, and they bring that up. Okay, so upcoming programs we have for the remainder of this month, our Thanksgiving luncheon is at Peter Hall this Wednesday. We have a craft class on Monday, that is with Time to Clay. That is, we are making glass holiday tree ornaments. In the past, we have done like a plate, we did acorn luminary, it was like we put a little battery powered tea light in there. We've done a bunch of different things. So this will be new, the glass, so that will be fun. And then our regulars bingo, yoga at Peter Hall in the field house, Tai Chi, stretch class, mahjong, rope grading, market basket trips, things like that as well, still on the calendar. Our friends group had a craft fair this past Wednesday. That went pretty well. They are going to do a debrief. I know they have a meeting this Wednesday morning. I don't know if they're debriefing what worked, what to keep, what to change. Many things have already been brought up. So this was a Wednesday that we had this event. They had this event. They're thinking next year to do it on a Saturday.
I think they'll get more people that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe even more vendors.
Oh.
And they're considering a change of venue instead of here. I'd suggest they talk to the library, so the library,
Bigger room. Where are you gonna Peter Hall?
we were thinking parking. And I don't want to compete with Peter Hall's event
Yeah,
that
they
they do
do
at the beginning of
holiday.
December. Yeah,
Got it.
so I certainly would not take anything from
Yeah.
them. But they are sort of reviewing what worked, what didn't. They'll go through that and make a decision, but I think it went pretty well. I believe they had 12 vendors here, plus they had raffles and they had a cookie sale and all kinds of different things, so it was pretty well attended.
They came to spend money.
Thank you. Our December, January newsletter went to the printer last week. We are hoping to get that at some point this week. It'll probably come on Wednesday when we're at Peter Hall, so we'll start on Thursday and then Monday. I do want to get it out in the mail before Thanksgiving. Our next Medi Pedi is December 4th. I believe there's one appointment left on that date, and then I think we're looking into January. Our holiday luncheon at Peter Hall has been changed, so our caterer needed to change the date. So we were Wednesday, December 18th. That has been changed to Tuesday, December 17th. So we've put that in the newsletter, the appropriate date.
When is it?
Tuesday, December 17th. So Susan was really great and put us in their Peter Hall newsletter, but it has the date that we initially had, so that is incorrect. That's at noon time over at Peter Hall.
What was
So
the catering?
Strawberry Valley.
So
So we changed we had to call the entertainment, then we had to speak to Peter Hall and all that kind of stuff. So that can be a challenge to try and
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah. Also, parking is a challenge there over at Peter Hall, so we're asking people, like for this Wednesday or for our holiday event, if you can, to park further away, to leave the spots that are there for people who, people who are using rolling walkers or people who have I don't think I have anyone who's in a wheelchair, but there are several people that come, maybe that aren't on the van, that are driving or driving with someone, and it's more difficult for them to.
The signage on that defunct property next door on the corner.
So we can't use that one, but we have talked to Sunset Grill. We have used them in the past, but they've got, I usually go through Joyce Macheros, who has a lot of connections over there.
Yep.
But she has talked to us in the past about Sunset Grill, so Kathy's heading over there this week just to confirm. They never say no to us.
Okay.
There is the cottage as well, but that's a little bit further down, and you'd have to park around the back. So we were just thinking Sunset Grill. So that's sort of the plan. And then we're really pushing the van as well.
Well, I mean, a lot of town stickers, you can park right in the parking lot.
Where's that? All the way at the end of the,
The end of
that's a
the
long,
road.
that's a long
It's a long walk for
people.
Yes.
the, you know,
Right.
for them.
Yoga at Peter Hall, I talked with Chris, we're gonna put that on hold for January and February. We are doing Coffee with the Cop here at the COA on January 22nd. Our pickleball has ended at the end of October. We stopped doing outdoor pickleball. The rec committee might be still doing it here or there, but we are starting ping pong beginning in January inside the field house. We do have a new program we're starting in January. We are doing a hearing service. So this gentleman comes, he's from a company called At Home Hearing Healthcare. He will come give free hearing aid cleanings, free wax removal, and free hearing screenings. And then if people are interested, he can talk to you about different hearing aids that are available. But
When is that again?
that will be on January 15th is our first one. That's from 1 to 4 p.m. It's about a 20-minute appointment, so people should call Kathy to schedule a spot, because there's only limited spots, between 1 and 4. But it's not a drop-in, so you gotta call Kathy. It's like our foot care, that you get a specific appointment.
Right.
That will be in the next newsletter. Our traveling chefs for December are, I believe, the 11th. I wrote this wrong on I think it's the 11th and the 22nd. In this edition of the newsletter, Police Chief Patty Fisher has put a scam awareness sort of chart in there. So it talks about what to do or what happens, what the scammers are looking for you to do. We had far too many people fall victim to scams here in Newbury. So she's just trying to lay out to people, if someone says this to you, what they're trying to do.
Right.
They're trying to get you to act fast, they're trying to get you information, they're trying to rattle you so that you just give them everything. And the best thing to do is hang up the phone. The best thing to do is not pick up a phone number that you don't know, right? But a lot of us will pick something up and then give information that we shouldn't. So it's something directly from the police department that we wanted to include in this.
I've heard that they will record you saying yes on something and then use it to gain different passwords. And that's pretty sad when it gets to be that point, so
Yeah.
that's one of the.
They're pretty
things why-
savvy. I mean, it's $1 billion
They
business.
really are,
Yeah.
yeah, they brought it to a whole new level. So my sister says, never use the word yes when you answer the phone. You've got to be kidding, as it comes to this.
Right.
Or just don't answer the phone.
That's really what we're
Well.
trying to get people to do.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, some people are wrapped up in a scam. They don't believe it's a scam,
Yeah.
and they lose more money.
Yeah.
So,
Piles of money.
right. It's astounding.
So to add to that, I don't know if anybody read, there was a news report about real estate fraud. So recently, there was a Cape Cod couple that ended up, their son randomly found that his parents' property was listed for sale. And anyway, so I guess this is a new thing now, where Connecticut, somebody successfully sold a property, listed, did a rapid sale below value. None of the attorneys or anything checked on stuff, and once the property is sold, the couple didn't discover it until somebody was already building on the property. So Massachusetts just put through a regulation where you can actually go to the registry of deeds and put an alert on your property so that you are noticed if something changes. For example, if the property goes on the market, on the MLS,
That's
or
interesting.
whatnot. They basically, Cape Cod couple, had faked the IDs, licenses, so it was basically like their ID but a different picture. And so that's why it got past the legal check and stuff like that, but if the son hadn't come across it, the property would have been sold, and they would have lost it, so there's a lot more real estate scams that are happening. So I bring it up because I just suggest that it costs nothing to go to the registry of deeds and have the alert put on. So if you own property, it's probably a good thing for everybody to do.
Great information.
That's something that Wojo should talk about with cops. You should bring that up.
Well, we're also working with, Chief Fisher has just sent an email about working with the FBI in Lowell about a new scam alert program that we're working to collaborate on and
Nice.
put out as well. So
Good.
we're
Yeah.
constantly trying to talk about this with people. We actually have a book here full of articles, recent articles that Janine and I see, and we put them in there just so people can be aware of. I mean, there's an astounding amount of things that people will try and scam you on.
Well,
Medicare is
the one
big
that's
that.
coming up, I mean, taxes and Medicare are huge because people say that something's wrong with them and it scares you.
Mhm.
And then, because we're going into the charitable giving season, people
That's true.
reach out
Yeah.
and say, oh, you've been a member of, Habitat for Humanity for years. Would you consider giving more this season as we approach, this deadline? And of course, people want to do it, but it's not Habitat for Humanity calling. They
Right.
just get your information.
Yeah, get your
And
credit
call.
card number.
Okay.
Yeah, I always say, mail me your address, I'll mail you a check. Never get it.
Right. Okay, so that's that. Upcoming holidays, the office is closed, is Thanksgiving Day. And then in December, initially, we were going to be closed on Christmas Eve day through that whole week.
Sure.
However, Janine has opted to work that day. So that we will be open on Monday and Tuesday of that week, closed Wednesday, which is Christmas Day, and Thursday, the day after Christmas. The following week, we'd be closed on New Year's Day, but open the rest of the time. Okay, so those are in the newsletter as well. So our Shine Counselor, as I mentioned, now is open enrollment. That ends December 7th. I did get an email from the woman who runs the Shine program at AgeSpan this weekend. They have been inundated with people, so they are referring people to 1-800-MEDICARE from now on. I did put an email out to our Shine Counselor. He is meeting with a few people this week on Thursday. Ordinarily what happens is people from Newbury will call us, say they need to meet with the Shine Counselor. We have them fill out a plan comparison form. I give those forms to Max, he's our Shine Counselor, and he either calls you or meets with you in person. I have an email out to him just to see, is he at his max for meeting people, or can he still take people? So if he is at his limit, we will be referring people to 1-800-MEDICARE. That is a 24/7 operation, so people can call any day, any time. But you're not going to get someone sitting down with you.
Same, right.
So, but I will see for Max, in the past when Lisa from AgeSpan has told me they're at their limit, he still has availability to meet with people, so he's really great. But people should just call us and let us know if they need to meet with someone, and we'll direct them from there. Again, we're always in need of volunteers for our NEAT program. So if anyone knows of someone who's looking to volunteer and would be willing to drive, we can direct them to NEAT. And then the only other thing is I'm wondering if we can maybe discuss some solution for us. We here, I know that the Council on Aging is a public space. Pretty much 99.9% of our programs, we offer food. So the staff, we are always very aware and cognizant of washing our hands, wearing gloves, putting our hair back, things like that. But we've had some incidents of late, people going into our cabinets to get, we had an art class, oh, we need just some bowls, we need to go in, and they're going in and going through our cabinets, people going into our closet, people going into our refrigerators to get food. So, if we have things on the counter, and a lot of times when we have things, Kathy's counting out what she's buying for different programs. So, if we have muffins or donuts or whatever, she's kind of tabulated what she needs for different programs, and then if people go over and just help themselves, it can turn into, we don't have enough for people. Aside from the fact that people aren't necessarily wearing gloves when they go in and take
Not
such things.
being sanitary.
Right, so I'm just looking for maybe some thought on how I can,
How about quiet signs with some humor and asking, please do not open the refrigerator door, ask.
I have had signs on the refrigerator for about a year now.
And
That hasn't-
they ignore them all.
It's a big stop sign, so,
They have a magnetic lock that is card run now. A lot of people are using them with small kids.
Cabinets, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
so just a thought.
okay.
that's a possibility.
I don't think it'll work on the refrigerator, but it will work on all the cabinets
I
and,
bet it can be adapted.
yeah, you have to see how.
Or just,
Just-
or a
just
clip-
can't-
a clip lock. I mean, literally, it's a Velcro clip lock. That on the refrigerator door, that somebody will have to reach around and press to release it in order to open the door.
Yeah, that's easy to figure out.
That's easy, I mean,
Yeah,
but it.
But maybe it wouldn't make them stop.
Yeah,
It
they
might,
can stop and
exactly.
read the
Initially,
sign.
yeah.
It'll prove the note stop is for real.
Okay. All right, so we try to maintain an open and welcoming environment here, and we want people to feel comfortable, but we're at a level that's a little too comfortable,
Yeah.
that's all.
We had to do that.
I'm a volunteer, but I always bring my own food now. I don't touch anything.
Yeah,
I have my own things.
yep. I mean, we're happy to give anybody anything they want. Just let us know that you want it.
Yeah.
And then we can put the appropriate precautions in
Exactly.
place. That's the only thing I'm worried about is, you know, because everything is for the public, if someone takes something and,
Yeah, it's not there for the one that was planned.
right,
Yeah, then your next send away, put a note from the director that describes we need your help. And in a pleasant manner, tell them what you're up against and what you prefer as behavior.
Can I mention something on the scamming?
yes.
What brought me to the Council on Aging is my sister was scammed out of $400,000.
Oh,
So after that, I became much more aware of who was being scammed. I'm going to tell you about something that we who are very aware were almost scammed. I was calling Comcast regular number for assistance with Comcast. Someone actually broke into the line. I have no way of knowing that happened. They broke into the line and said, you know, we'll fix your problem, something like, it'll cost you this much money. Now, I'm sitting across from my husband, an attorney, and I'm saying, look, we want to give them, we want to get this fixed. I don't remember exactly, but they said, can you give us the credit card number? I am talking to Comcast, I thought.
Yeah.
So I'm about to give them the information, and almost to the end of it, they said, I want your CVV number. My husband said, I'm not giving you my CVV number. I'm never giving that out to anybody. I'm telling you all this because if you think it's legitimate, someone asks you for that, don't give out your CVV. And he said, I'm not giving that to you. No, you have to give it to us. No. So we called up Comcast afterwards and said, we are calling you. Why does someone in your line ask us for this information?
Jeez.
So it's something that, who would be aware? Who would be aware? The only reason that we were alerted is because he's an attorney and he said, never give out your CVV number. And I mean, I'm sitting with one. And I'm talking on the line to Comcast, the 800 number. I've never heard of anything like this in my life. So I'm just alerting you guys.
Great information, thank you.
You wonder how you avoid that every time somebody, completes a task and then they run your card through the portable machines.
Right.
Your four-digit number is made public on that every time they swipe that card.
You're talking about going to the store.
No, they come into the house, whether it be a purveyor who then, for instance, the boys out on the Salisbury Highway that take care of the Maytags of the world. They will come in with a machine and you'll pay them on the spot as they fix your dryer or fix your refrigerator. And when they swipe the card, the formula goes across as well. So I mean, the whole universe has your American Express or Chase card and a security number every time you transact. It's a,
But I do think credit card companies, there's a little bit more fraud protection than, say, your debit card.
yeah.
Or, anyone asking you to get them Bitcoin or get them gift cards or
Yeah.
send them cash, it's not legit.
Yeah, and American Express is remarkable, and they don't let anything through the door if it doesn't meet a profile. It's so deep. I happened to be impromptu with my company in Show Park, Chicago, a few years ago. First time in my entire life I'd ever been to Show Park in Chicago. And American Express called because I went to use it at the airport and they denied it.
Yeah.
And I had to get on the phone and tell them who I was and answer those 4 questions. Where did you go to K through 6, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I have a question on scams. Should I wait till new business or
No, I think we're discussing it now. We can.
when you're scanning down through the internet, Facebook, I get invites to go for a grocery card for seniors up to $3,000. And have you ever heard of this? Is that a scam or is
We're
there
not getting
actually? Really?
I would steer clear of any of that stuff.
Well, something is for nothing. before
I
you
have until I act, and that's why,
Yeah.
I don't wanna go push the button until I inquire a little bit on it.
Anything on social media makes me very hesitant too,
Right.
So the other one was, Biden put in, you can get up to $180,000 for homeowners for seniors. And I went, really? So,
You just
we'll look
want-
into that too.
want you to-
I mean, it's enticing, you look at 180
Yes.
grand, but it's gotta be a drawing somehow.
Well, the word continue is the one you should avoid. I mean, literally, every time I see the square, whether it be New York Times, it's when I go to, I delete.
Curious if any.
Right, if they're asking you to
Yeah,
click a
see
link, if they're asking you to click a link to continue or to read more about it, I would steer clear of it.
Okay.
So, if there's a federal program that was put in place, go to the federal page.
Right.
So don't link through,
Right.
search for the page in the program.
Or something from
Set
Massachusetts.
up a whole new search.
Or-
So,
Right.
yeah, okay.
Or like mass.gov, for
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
from
yeah.
Massachusetts, you go to mass.gov and then go to the search bar.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah,
yes,
to
I
see
get
it's
stuff for solar advertising all the time,
Yes.
because I'm an advocate of solar power.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, these programs are created by Massachusetts. They're often not. They're created by somebody who's interested in getting information on you. So you go to mass.gov,
Yep.
Yeah.
look for the solar programs. If they match up, fine. If they don't, it's not a real program.
Thank you.
But I would go with the contact information on mass.gov, or the
Yes.
link from mass.gov, not from whatever that original email or
Right.
social media post was. Always go with the,
I want to mention one thing to you.
Good information, thank you.
I want to mention one thing too, about shopping for your groceries. People often use credit cards when they shop for their groceries, which is not a problem. Don't ever use a debit card when you're shopping for your groceries. And I'm going to give you an example of someone very prominent. The wife used a debit card. They got the readers on those
Yeah.
machines. Wife used a debit card. I'm in line now with anybody. I said, that's a debit card, don't use it. I'm telling them. And that person, then the husband saw the bank account and he saw a deduction of $20,000. And he said, well, what's the $20,000 for? They said, did you use your card someplace? Yeah, he said, we will take care of this once, but we will never do it again. So they would have lost $20,000.
Yeah.
Well, using a debit card, which is a bank card. So the thing is, you're thinking, I'm only going to put $100 on this, and that's all I'll use now.
Mine
You
has
use
an
all the money in your
automatic
account.
limit on it.
Mine does too.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, they have
Yes,
automatic
yes,
limit,
yeah.
but the automatic limit, they can go up to your limit. No, but they go beyond that.
Yeah.
They have your information.
you're right.
So, this is my free advice, I'm in line, don't use that. They say, no, I actually do that. Don't use that card. And, I actually do that because I don't want anybody to get hurt.
yeah.
And they're not thinking they're getting hurt.
Or paying cash, if you have the cash.
People have cash.
Some people do.
All right, I think we've
Some-
derailed from
yes.
the report.
Yeah.
Any more things? Okay. Is there any new business
I have
anyone
a
wants?
question for Somebody had asked me if you thought of using the van for voting.
So we've done that in the past, we've
Okay.
offered it several times in the
Okay.
newsletter, and nobody's ever taken us
Okay.
up on it, so I didn't do it this time.
Okay.
I
was like, I don't know.
Yeah, but I have offered it to the
Yeah.
past, and it's just never been
Okay.
accepted. I'm happy to offer it again, you know.
It was
In
just
the
one
spring,
person
yeah.
asking me. I mean, I was like, with mail-in and everything else voting nowadays, it's, you know.
Yeah.
But she was like, a lot of people actually like
To
do
go.
it in person.
I go, yes, I
Yes.
go on election day
yeah,
to the
so-
polls. So, you know, if people are interested in that, they should call us and then we can,
Okay,
see if we can work it out.
yeah.
Cindy, can I ask you a question now? You know, I wear hearing aids. Oh, everybody knows that. I actually filled out a whole sheet to give to us, to Janine on hearing, so people understand hearing aids and why people hear them and what the restrictions are. But one of the main reasons I asked you for this is, if you have a hearing aid, I don't know who has one, you need an app on your phone in order to adjust that hearing aid. These people can't afford the phones. So having a hearing aid without an app, which is on the phone, raises and lowers the hearing, is almost useless, because they're constantly doing this. The hearing aid is only one expense, the app is something else entirely. So I don't know if there's any way you can help people. I've mentioned it to Janine. They need a phone to hear.
So here's the thing, is there'd have to be a limit, right? Because you get a smartphone and then you have to have the service to pay for it.
Right,
So then that's a monthly bill.
right.
So I, at the Council on Aging, do have an elder emergency fund that is very limited. But if I buy $1,000 phones and then pay for monthly service, so I believe there are other options for other hearing aids that don't have a
You can
smartphone.
have a regular hearing aid, you don't
Yeah.
need a cell phone, but you can't hear with it, because it constantly adjusts it behind your ear. 'Cause I was with a gentleman yesterday, he doesn't have the phone, he couldn't hear a damn thing. I wear hearing aids, that's all.
Well, but this is also why we have this new hearing clinic coming in. We're trying to do
Which I
something
think
new.
is
Yeah.
absolutely
We'll
fabulous.
see if it works.
That's
You know,
fabulous.
it's something new to us, so we're going to try it out, see what people think. It's like the way we were with the medical pedicures.
Just
We didn't know if it was
say,
gonna work.
That's a good question for the gentleman for the hearing.
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right. Is there a way I can get something that I don't need a smartphone for? And he's connected in that world and knows.
Yeah,
That's
I
good.
use
Yeah.
Newburyport Audiology, and I do have it on my phone,
Mm-hmm.
but I can shut the Bluetooth off, and I can use a little widget that they gave me that will hook into either the TV or the town meeting,
Yeah, those-
and it will go right to my hearing aids
Yep.
and block everything else off, and yes, you can turn it up and down with that. So
Yeah, that I
it's
have-
very
that
interesting.
I'm not familiar with. I have-
Newburyport-
Obviously, I have the thing that goes to the TV, all this other stuff, you
Right,
know.
Newburyport Audiology does it for me, so, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, the other thing is, I recommend to everybody, seriously, that they get hearing aids at Costco. Because I paid $5,000 for my first set. And Costco had the same thing for $13.99. That program of free hearing aids has completely stopped with this new Medicare plan. So now, I have two sets of hearing aids, one's $13.99, I'm fine with that, but I have an alternate set.
Yeah.
And I also go to an audiologist and I do all that stuff, but when I tell, my cousin said, I have to get a hearing aid. I said, you're getting a hearing test at Mass General, don't you go anywhere else but Costco to buy it. The best hearing aid test I've ever had was at Costco, and I've had many. They offered me a job there. That's the truth. I said, I'll take the job, but I can't see at night to drive, so I can't come in.
All right.
Any other new business? So let's establish our next meeting date. We had, I think, talked about not meeting in December because it's so busy. So let me pull up the calendar.
I don't have my phone, but I do know there is a holiday in January on Monday.
January?
Martin
The
Luther
third, yeah, it would be MLK
King.
Day.
Right, yeah,
So we are shut down.
yes.
So the 27th or the 13th. We could do it a little early because we're taking December off.
early, probably.
Okay, so let's set the meeting date for January 13th at 9 a.m. 2025.
13th, right?
Yep.
Where is that going? Amazing.
Okay.
If I could get a motion to that effect
Motion.
and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
And a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is it? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you guys very much.